This morning we're joining Accurascale for another announcement, another brand new product that's going to be joining the line. So thanks very much indeed, Fran, for joining us. What are you doing?
Good morning, Andy. Thanks very much for having us, and we're delighted to share this exclusive announcement with you. It's something that we've been working on for a very long time, and it is, of course, an icon of British rail era rail freight. It is something that we've been requested so much for since we first started Accurascale, between customer surveys, emails, Facebook, and RM Web comments. It is the latest in our Powering Britain series of coal wagons, and it is, of course, the MGR family of HAA, HBA, HCA, HDA, HFA, HMA, and HNA, and then also its variations, including the CDA China Clay covered hopper and MHA spoil wagon. So as you can tell from all those TOPS codes, it's a very diverse and very big family of wagons. It is a huge tooling suite. It's something we've been working on for a long time now. And it's something that is obviously we want to get right, and it's full of pitfalls of all different variations and details, and something we have covered. And it's going to bring a huge new type of variation to coal trains on layouts anywhere from 1965, I believe, all the way up to 2008, 2009. And then obviously up to the present day with the spoil wagon and the CDA China Clay hopper, which are still in service.
Wow, that's just a small one, isn't it, to chuck into the equation? But this is something you're actually great at, is looking at all of the variations within a family, and obviously how to go about that. I mean, for me, I just think HAAs, and obviously the early days or air braked hoppers and so on. And then the story carried on from there. So what are the differences between each of the wagons?
Well, there's a huge range of differences that obviously when I first started with my train set and stuff like that, and I was buying HAA hoppers, there was only one real style, maybe the CDA obviously on top of that had the cover for the China Clay workings. But I always thought, when I was younger, there was only one variant. But when you dig down into them, as we have done, it is just an absolute catalogue of differences and variations. So they started around the 1964, 1965, the standard MGR hoppers, and they were coded as Hop AB. And then the B, which prefix was dropped in the 1970s. There was also the Hop 32, which came with a canopy, which was then recoded as HCA. And obviously we're covering these two types in our first run in original livery, and then in some later liveries the HCA will carry EWS as well as original freight brown, and the HAA will cover rail freight red cradles from the 1980s. Then there was the HDA, which was allowed to run at 60 miles an hour loaded and unloaded, so it had an upgraded suspension, and was used on long haul services but also shorter speed link one as well. These had air distributor above one end on the frame, and we'll also cover these in Rail Freight Red with some of the Barry logos, which are obviously very attractive, and then some patched with mainline freight from the 1990s, so they will go quite well together. Then there is also the HDAs, which I touched on earlier, and they have also got a newer aerodynamic type of canopy. There's two different canopies we have tooled on it. There's an original one, and then there's an aerodynamic one which stopped the coal dust kicking up when trains were operating at speed. And then there was also the HFA. In the mid-90s, mainline freight started modifying HAAs to HMAs, and that continued into EWS. That had the upgraded air distributor from around 1995. And canopy fitted HFAs also had that similar modifications made by EWS, and they became HNAs. And we're going to do those in mainline freight aircraft blue, which is very attractive, and train loaded coal with EWS air markings as well. So there's going to be a wide variety, and that's just on the coal hoppers. Then we have the China Clay version, which is the CDA, which was introduced in 1987, 88. And they still work on China Clay workings to this day for English China Clay down in around the Cornwall area. And we're going to be doing them in current DB livery and some from the EWS era, and obviously there's some nice patch painting, which we obviously really love to do as well, with the all blue ECC Quarries livery with patch with EWS and DB. And then finally, a lot of the HAs, when they were being replaced in the 2000s or late 90s, early 2000s, were used as spoil and box body wagons called the MHA. Now, this was tooled before by another company, but there was a second body, and we're going to do that in the first run, and then we'll do the original body in a later run. We also have, so that's going to be from the first run alone, which is obviously a huge amount of different types of wagons. And then we have also tooled the rebodied HAA, which came around in the 70s. We have the HFA bodied with aerodynamic canopy. We have the HNA rebodied with modified brake distributor and aerodynamic canopy, which was a former HFA. And then we have the early style MHA, and then we are also have tooled for the CBA lime hopper and the MAA MAB box open. So if you've got your head around all those top codes and all those different types of information and haven't logged off yet, you've done well. But that's the extent of this announcement and all the different things we are doing with this just one type of wagon family.
Can you just run through that again? No, that is absolutely amazing. It is a massive thing, but also as well, historically, what you've done, I mean, that you have different packs with different numbers to assist people in building up train loads. So how many packs are there going to be in each?
There's going to be 2 tranches of the first first production run, I should say, and that there's going to be 23 packs over those 2 runs in total. That is going to involve across all these different types in the first run. So there will be 3. It's the usual kind of setup with us. It's 3 wagons per pack, multiple packs per livery, so you can start forming prototypical rates, and obviously rate bundle deals as well will be on offer. And the price for them will be from $74.95 RRP. And we will have multiple in each livery, and so a lot of the liveries, even though they might be slightly different between load haul, mainline freight, EWS, they all operated together. So I'll give you a nice colourful train for that era. We have stuff going back to when they were first introduced for pre-tops and early tops era as well. So there's a nice variation, and there's a couple of packs of each. And what we've done as well is we were obviously conscious that 2 of our own retailers had commissioned a run of these wagons. Unfortunately, we didn't know at the time, and we had already gone to tool them when this took place, and there was discussion on that on RM Web. We had a discussion of, where do you stand when we should announce something, duplication, and how this can happen. And it's unfortunate for everyone concerned, but we wanted to be fair with retailers. Obviously, there's been a lot of buzz the last couple of weeks with retailers, and the way certain manufacturers have been treating them and stuff like that. We don't want to do that. What we wanted to do was give everyone a chance with our own retailers. So what we have done is we have picked out packs and tooling variations that they're not doing in their runs for this first run. Now, we will do it in our second run because obviously they're important ones for us to do, and we had already tooled all that stuff. But we took the whole tooling suite and we said, right, how can we help our retailers out as well? And obviously our own packs will be available to everyone, over 100 retailers, including the 2 retailers who are doing their own run, and we've had that discussion, and they're happy obviously to take them on as well, and obviously direct from us as well. So it'll be available in all our local stockists. We're over 100 now, and nice and easy accessibility for modelers who don't do online, as well as people who do buy online, whether they buy direct off us or they buy off one of the major online retailers that we are partnered with as well. So lots of different packs to choose from, 23 in the first run, which is obviously a huge amount. So that's kept us on our toes with research and all that kind of stuff, and decoration plates. And obviously the ones we're showing here today are just a kind of smorgasbord of what's to come with that, and obviously there'll be extensions of those packs then as well.
That's absolutely fair enough. I mean, that's been a good approach to it considering the circumstances, so fair play to you. The best place for people to obviously look at all of these variations, the permutations, and then make their decisions and deliberations is to obviously look at your website. Plenty of information there for everybody now to take a look at.
Yeah, we will have all packs listed on our website under either MGR, or then we'll split out CDA and MHA because they are slightly different, obviously. We will have all the packs of all liveries and all information there. It will also be obviously in BRM, and we'll have it on RM Web as well. But we'll have all the listed breakdown. We'll have blogs on all the different types as well, so people can learn more about each wagon in the coming days and weeks. And you can clue up on all your information there. And obviously, if you have any questions, you get us on RM Web. You can ask on Facebook, or obviously email us direct at sales@accurascale.co.uk. Give us a shout and we'll do our best to help you out. Make sure you choose the ones that you want, or if you're waiting for a subsequent run, because the models themselves, they look very special. There's a huge amount of, brass detail, separately ply detail. We've gone to town on all the different bits of fidelity, different types of doors, different catches at each end to open the doors. We have different underframe detail and all that kind of stuff. It's a real Accurascale effort in each wagon of a large amount of separately applied parts. So what people have come to expect from us in the last few years with all the other wagons we've brought out. So they're going to be really, really good, and delivery will be, for the first batch, will be Q4 this year, and then the second batch will come behind that in about Q1 early Q2 2022.
Well, I've got to say, I've had a chance to take a look at them myself as well. I mean, the simple original Hop AB, I think that's actually my favourite there, where the story started. And as you say, obviously, an immense amount of minor variations as you go between things. It's quite mind-blowing. But detail-wise, as you say, obviously, you've got different things. It's not all just moulded plastic elements, as you say, in there. That to get the finesse that you've got, as you say, obviously, sort of lost wax elements, etched elements that's in there. Where did you do all of the research for all of this stuff?
It's been a labour of love over the last couple of years. It's one that Gareth has really dived into, and he's done a huge amount of background work, and he had done surveys and stuff. We'd done surveys pre-Warley, when was the last Warley? 2019. I'm losing track with COVID dates and stuff like that, and we actually did a bit of kind of funny guerrilla marketing around it then, because people were asking us, are you going to do it? And we put our sign on. There was one in the main hall, and we put our sign on it for a while, and we were teasing it out. But we were well advanced at that stage in the research element, and we were working away, and it just, because there's so many variants, it just took so long to research. And it's just one of those, like what we're doing with our locos. It's not just about doing one and saying, oh, that's a nice HAA. It's like, well, these ran in all different variations and all different guises, and it's a huge amount of research that goes into that, a huge amount of surveys, because you have to survey a lot of the different variants. You can't just survey one or two. You have to use, obviously, drawings and source all that as well. So it's been one of the many big projects we've been doing, and it was one that we were keen to do when we started. It just took a long time to turn around and put the time into it and gather all the information and really start surveying it. And yeah, it's been a labour of love for about 18 months anyway. So, but here we are. We're in the final straight with it. It's actually it's almost as bad as researching and doing a locomotive from the research end, because there's very serious variations within them.
Yeah, well, you can't have had time to do anything else over the last 18 months, then?
Absolutely not. We've just been twiddling our thumbs, just enjoying the time off and not working flat out to get everything out there at the moment. But lots more good stuff in the pipeline as well, which we're really excited about. But we are especially excited about because they're very they're so iconic as part of the British Railway freight scene from the 60s right up to about 12 years ago. And they're an icon. When I was a kid, they were always one of the wagons that I loved, and the other guys all the guys are the same, and it was one that we were determined to do. So I think it's going to go down really well with modelers, and they've been really looking forward to them, and as I said, bugging us for a long time. So you've asked, so here they are.
Yeah, I think that's absolutely splendid. Well done to you. Look forward to obviously seeing other plans that you've got coming up. But maybe whilst you're here, that sort of like can grab you and saying, obviously other projects that are in the system. One that interests me, is the Metrovic A class. Obviously on the green boxes.
In the Irish Railway models, our first locomotive, it is just about done. The production will be completed in approximately 10 days' time. and then it's into the container. At the moment, the big fun for any manufacturer is getting stuff out of China following the Suez blockage, because there's no empty containers in China. But I think we have something sorted out for that, so we look forward to landing them late July. And obviously, anyone who's excited about any Accurascale loco and has their order in, whether it's the Deltic 3792 or the Manor, keep an eye out for that loco. If you're wondering what one of our locomotives is going to be, the Metrovic A-Class from IRM. It's the first loco we've done. The Deltic now has gone into production as well, but the A-Class is our first one that we finished and obviously delivered. It's been a huge learning curve for us. I think when we went into doing locos, we said, yeah, no problem, we'll do this. There's so many more steps to the process than there is in any item of rolling stock. And that's been a learning curve for us. And obviously, that's where a lot of the delays and stuff have come into it, unfortunately, between that and COVID and Suez crisis and all these different things that have just added up to the world in the last year. I don't know what we've done to embark in such crazy times in the world at the moment. But we've done our first one. We're now progressing on the second one. We're going to have updates on the Class 37, 92 and Manor in the coming weeks. Actually, the 37 update might be out by the time this goes out as well, because obviously we're recording it in advance. But yeah, we're motoring with that. But yeah, the A-Class we're really excited about, because that's going to show people exactly what our locomotives are going to be about. And we've put a lot of effort and, technology and all that good stuff into it. That's going to set a class apart, we feel.
Okay, really looking forward to seeing those things come. And you touched on the thing there about delays. I know you set off with the best of intentions to give sort of like an anticipated delivery date. And I do think that sort of like Ever Given ship was full of containers of excuses, I think, actually. But
whatever the Ever Given was full of, and I've heard very interesting stories of some of the cargo that was on it, and obviously it's been impounded and all that kind of good stuff now. It's the 135 ships that were behind it full of containers that couldn't get through is the issue. And obviously all them have now, since the blockage was cleared, they've got to Europe, but now they have to get back to China and to come back out of China, and you're talking a 6-7 week trip to Europe, 6-7 week back to China, and then 6-7 week back to Europe again in full. So I was talking to another supplier in a different market last week actually, and they had stuff ready to come out of China, and they were telling us of the absolute screaming match they had to do with the shipping company to try and get a container, and they got one as a cancellation from a friend of theirs that was their stuff. There was a fault with the stuff, so they weren't taking it, and they basically had to pay over the odds to get the container out. But it's just like that at the moment. It's just these strange, innocuous things that you think, isn't that kind of funny? But it has such a knock-on effect for anything, any goods. It's whether it's, model trains, computers, TVs, phones, everything's made in China, as they say. So, there's a shortage of stuff everywhere. There's another funny one that's there's a certain type of microchip that's used in cars, and nobody's making them, nobody can get them, so they actually stop production lines of cars, and that's obviously a direct consequence of the whole COVID thing as well. So these things have to get back up and running again, and it does take time to get these massive supply chains running again. So once something knocks it off kilter, it does really fall by the wayside. But I know some manufacturers have been affected by it. We actually flew our KUAs. The KUAs came in by ship, but we were looking to fly the A-classes, and it was just the price they're charging at the moment is just absolutely off the scale. We could literally hire a private jet round trip and have all the champagne we wanted, and we wouldn't even put a dent in what we were being charged from China. So it's just the way it is.
Well, there's your answer then.
I think so. Yeah, I think we all have a big party. Set up a layout on the plane and test them on the way over. Between having a great time. But we'll get there. These things will settle down again. Obviously, we're coming out the other side of COVID finally, and that'll help. I was talking to another supplier that makes a different type of model to trains, and not to give too much away, but they were dealing with a factory who had 114 workers before Chinese New Year, and after Chinese New Year they're down to 3 workers, and they just can't get the people to come into China or to come to that part of China to work as assembly workers. So Hopefully it's improved for them a bit since then, but that was just after Chinese New Year. So they're the kind of struggles that obviously a lot of the factories are dealing with, that obviously has knock-on effects everywhere else as well.
I know I've been flippant, obviously, in some of my comments.
Flippant, Andy? No way. No, I wouldn't. I'm not having that.
It is difficult for everybody, but where's my toy trains?